Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to Peace Fund Radio with Ethan Dettenmaier and Adrian Paul, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Oh yes, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's a lovely, lovely morning in Los Angeles, wouldn't you say?
It actually is a nice morning in Los Angeles. It's a beautiful day.
You seem to have a bit of a frog in your throat, or whatever else it's in there.
Well, it's a combination of things, I'm sure. I've put a lot of time in lately.
Yeah, you had that this weekend. You had the event up in I want to say Camarillo, not Camarillo.
Close to Camarillo.
It was close to Camarillo, Valencia.
Yeah, Christmas for about, we did a record number of kids, and presents, brunch, had a lot of mutual friends of ours on the broadcast stage. It was a good time. Mickey Mouse came out, everyone.
Yeah, I saw some of the pictures. I actually saw some. Yeah, I saw them. I saw a video of Santa arriving, I think it was.
Yeah, it's funny because all the amateur videos seem to go up faster than the actual cameraman shooting the videos.
Oh, of course they do, because they're just uploading it like in raw form, and it's up there and it's done.
Yeah, people get motion sickness watching Santa arrive, and they don't realize.
Well, I did actually. I was in Pittsburgh,
oh, right, Sword Experience, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of people. I was really surprised.
Pittsburgh's a fun town, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we stayed outside. The trouble is, and I was. Do you know who John Ratzenberger is?
Yeah, of course.
Cheers. He was next to me, and John's a lovely guy. Do you know that man has done the voice of all of characters in all the Pixar movies? Every single one of them.
I'm not surprised.
I'm like, wow, that's
I'm not
cool.
surprised.
Yeah, he's such a nice man. But he was saying, when I go to a town, I actually want to make sure that I stay in the city, because sometimes some of these cons are outside of the city. So at least when you're in the city, you get to see something, because you go there, you're there at 10 o'clock in the morning at these cons, and you leave at 6 or 7 at night. You go and have dinner, and then you go to bed. You see absolutely nothing. People go, so what are you doing in the actual city? Do you like it? And I'm like, well, I've seen the inside of the hotel and the convention center, but that's about it.
Right.
So you don't really have a chance to. But I did see the breakfast stuff on the air and I was watching. I saw some of the videos, and I also saw that our friend Kiahu came.
He did
cosplay, as well as our social media. Colin Pelton came up as well. He was what's the other character in Thor? Loki. That's
Two very generous, awesome personalities to have on board. It was great to work with them on Saturday.
Yeah, they both of them. I was surprised actually, because when Kiahu came on the show, he's very modest. He's very low down. He's got a huge following, and
he also donated, just briefly, some custom-made suspenders he made.
Did he really?
Yeah, to the silent auction.
You know what's funny? What you call suspenders? We call them braces. In England, they call them braces, but those are what you put in your teeth.
Yeah.
So suspenders in England are for stockings. That's what you used to. So there's a real, you say one thing in one country and something else, you could get misconstrued as being something absolutely different.
Right. They were both very awesome. I mean, we had more characters at this event than we've ever had, over 90. And this thing went off without a hitch, and they were both part of it. It was really, really well done.
And so, how many kids did you have there?
Just under 500.
Just under 500 kids.
Under 500 children.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And then there's also the parents.
And there's the parents, and Salt Creek Grill handled it masterfully. They had, their staff volunteers, their waiters, their cooks. They all volunteer that shift. Mm-hmm. They had more than enough volunteers. We had more than enough volunteers. Mark Marshall, who was a production hand on Empire Strikes Back and Goonies, handled all the non-costumed volunteers. Brandon Hillock handled all the costume volunteers, with the exception of the Star Wars group and the G.I. Joe guys. And then we did a broadcast with Jude Prest, who directed it, who was the showrunner.
Well, I think it's an amazing event from what I saw online. And is John there right now?
John is here.
I am. Good morning,
John,
guys.
Hi, good morning. So how are things with you? In did you see any of the stuff this weekend?
I did. I kept up. I kept up with all of Ethan's posts throughout the weekend and was really happy to see the event go as well as it did. It's a great event. Great event.
Thank you for supporting it, John. You were instrumental in getting it done, and I appreciate it.
I wish I could have done more. I could have done more.
You know
I
what?
You guys do a lot for the kids there, and I think it's the time now is better than ever before. Obviously, it's a holiday season, but also about 3 weeks ago, I think Los Angeles declared a shelter emergency for its 26,000 homeless. Yeah. So, the need is there, and for years Ethan has stepped up with the combat radio crew to fill that need as best he can, and we're very proud of that and glad he's on our team.
Well, I appreciate the compliment, man, and you were very instrumental in getting it done, and everyone that got involved, no matter what the scale, was an essential element, and it was really about kindness, honestly, and we're getting better at doing more. I will say that. It's kind of a work in progress, but as you find the right people and the right sort of personalities gather around the right cause, you do kind of put together a more perfect team, if you will, on it. Now, this Saturday, we're actually at Social Services for San Fernando Valley with everything we have left, presents, toys, food. And we're going there to actually do Christmas for them, for the families that didn't get to come to our event. But I have to say, I've been saying it all week, I've been really under the weather, so I'm slow on the thank yous, which has made me feel like a bum. But I have to say I was really impressed with everyone involved who donated, who just made a point of being there, who signed silent auction items, who did the broadcast, who were dressed up in costumes at the crack of dawn. I mean, it kind of hits home at 5 a.m. when the Jurassic Park motor pool is like parking their trucks. And, you see all these interesting personalities and the stormtroopers start putting on their armor and it's 5 a.m. It's still dark out. And you look around and you just say, wow, the generosity of all these people to come to Valencia and actually do this free of charge as volunteers for the kids because they know a little kindness counts in this world. And that's when it kind of hit me the most, when everyone starts showing up. Scrooge shows up and everyone comes by to say hello and then find the coffee maker. It's always the same order. Hi, I'm here. Where's the coffee maker? And Santa and the fire department that delivered Santa and everyone involved. Just a real special group of people. Heroic in every sense of the word.
Well, it's a lifelong legacy of kindness as well. Because, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, who's to say that one of those kids you helped this weekend doesn't say, you know what, at a time when I needed help, people were there for me. And now I'm in the position to give something back myself. I mean, you never know how an event like this could turn around a child's entire outlook on life.
Yeah,
and totally open up doors for that child that might not have not that the doors weren't open for them, but they didn't know that those doors were open. They didn't maybe know that kindness is out there.
Right.
And I think it's a real opportunity in that way.
And we absolutely agree with you on that. We absolutely believe that this does open doors. This is more than just telling a kid that they matter and that they should hold on and count for something. It is done with the belief that they will go on and continue this sort of practice of kindness because the world needs it now, obviously more than ever. We say that every year, and every year it needs it more and more, it seems. But it was, it was really I can only use cliches to describe it, but it was a joyous experience, and it was really wonderful to be part of it and to have all those interesting personalities on the ground in a singular cause. That was from the staff in the kitchen cooking to the people who put on the costumes to the people that managed the crowds to the fire department that delivered Santa to everyone, the cameramen on the broadcast booth, the stage managers who covered our Rose Parade type coverage. It was really, really impressive, and I walked away with exhausted and sick, but really, just impressed with the people around me. There's a lot of great character in this world still.
You were sick with kindness, sir.
Well,
you never
seem
get
to
better.
have lost your entire voice, this morning because of it. What was that because you were talking too much?
It was at the actual, I think it was because I was talking too much, but at the volunteer party we do every year at the event from 11 to 1, I was shouting because we auction off and raffle off a lot of prizes as thank yous.
Is that what it was?
And Bob Gurr, the
I thought
Imagineer,
you'd have an MC or something.
I emceed it. It's only fitting that I MC it to thank everyone properly, and I lost it. I lost my voice there, but I've been basically moving at about 15% all week since then.
Well, we are, obviously this is Christmas time, and I think it's very important to...
Hence the bells of Christmas, I keep hearing.
Yes, ding dong, that's the bells of Christmas. Actually, that's the bells.
Is that the ghost of Christmas past coming to visit us?
That was actually our guest texting me. That was our guest. We have a guest this morning on the show, and he had a few complications getting into the show, but I believe he might be on next week. We'll find that out, and we'll be tweeting that out. But it's a young man who is a Latin music sensation at the moment. He's 18 years old. He was born in 1998. God, 1998. I think of that and go, wow, that's when I was finishing Highlander.
That's crazy.
That's kind of amazing. His name is Xavier Chey Carillo. He's a native of Los Angeles, California. He was born on May 31st. He's got on May 29th. We've almost got the same birthday. Didn't even know that. He was. His parents realized he had a future in the world of music because he enjoyed singing with bands at festivals, family reunions, and other opportunities. And in 2006, he had the opportunity to participate in the show El Show de Don Cheto, and won first place as a singer. And he also won first place in the annual festival of the city of Southgate in California. Then at 12, he started beginning his career by the looks of things. He was hired as an accordionist for the Mexican regional music group, Bucanas de Culiacan. A year later, he was invited to join Alfredo Rios' El Comandor band. And now he's got his music solo career coming. And the reason we're going to have Chey on there, he actually teamed up with one of my favourite people, Kimberly Moore, and the Kimberly Moore Foundation, which
yes, indeed.
We've had her on the show many times, from originally the Adopt a Letter campaign, which she had an amazing fulfilling children's wishes and at Christmas time. And being Christmas, this is it. So... Chey found out through Kimberly what she was doing through the Adopt a Letter, and she's done 30,000 children right now living in. She answers the wishes of those children, taking them personally herself to these places, and she's growing and she's doing amazing things. She's an amazing lady. The Kimberly Moore Foundation, you should check it out. She does, and I just see she has a brand new website up, which looks fantastic. They're dealing with things all the way around. They've got field trips set up. They've got fundraising events, and Chey Carillo is actually working with her now. But the reason
and they're
why
at KimberlyMooreFoundation.org.
That's it, KimberlyMooreFoundation.org. Now we will have Chey on here in 2 seconds. I just want to mention why we're doing it, because this particular month is our kickoff month for our education, and we have just secured our partnership with the Los Angeles Unified School Districts to give away 90 surfaces to the classrooms of Los Angeles to 3 different grade levels, and we will be running that competition in January. This is the beginning of the month, so that you can understand why it is important for all of us to have an education, and why it's so important for us to highlight this. Now, we talk about technology. We've talked about on the show. We talked about books on the show. We're dealing with technology right now. We're going to be giving away 90 Surfaces, Microsoft Surfaces, to these schools. These schools will have to actually participate in a reason why they want a Surface. Why is it needed? Now, I'm going to call Chey in 1 second, and we will see what we have there for him, what he has to say about it, and the reason why is that we're going to give away 2 Surfaces next week if you can answer a couple of questions from Chey, and Chey will be asking those very shortly. Do you know of Chey? I think you've read up about him, John.
I've read up about him, yes. I've not had a chance to listen to any of his music yet.
Yeah, so I was hoping to have his music. Hopefully we'll be able to play his music next week on the show. But right now we're going to try and call him and see if we can actually find out if he's online. It's technology this morning is fabulous. That's why we're giving away Surfaces, so that we can continue technology. And I think we have the phone ringing. Do we have the phone ringing? It's ringing now. Let's see if we can get Chey on the phone. Hello? Hello, hello? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Cheo?
Hello, hello.
Hello, Cheo.
Yeah, perfect.
How are you?
Good, and yourself?
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
We had a little trouble getting together this morning.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it was complicated. I'm myself on the road right now trying to get home because had a little complicated morning.
We all get those.
Right?
It's bad when it happens, and it always happens at the worst time.
Believe me, man, I know it sucks. I'm very sorry. It's embarrassing almost just to apologize because I'm not in there sitting with you guys.
Well, hopefully we can get you in on another week to actually come in and do it. That would probably be
right.
We'd love to have you in here. I saw you. Cool. We met a couple of weeks ago at the Kimberly Moore Foundation event, and you had all your fans there, all the girls there. It was fabulous to watch. How's that experience for you?
It's cool, man. It's awesome. It's very. I mean, it's like wow, like why me? Sometimes I ask myself, like, why me? This is what I do for a living. Like I don't do nothing but record music. This is what I do, and to see all these little girls, to see all my fans show me all this love unconditionally, it's like wow, like it's so incredible, and I'm so thankful to be able to live this life that I live.
Well, you know what? You have a good heart, and Kimberly Moore tells me that. And you, how did you get involved with Kimberly?
With Kimberly, I remember I was actually scrolling through my Instagram, and I saw that there was a lady helping out the people in need, and I was like, you know what? I have to get in contact with this lady because she has a great heart. She's so down to earth, and I was like, I need to be a part of her project. And that's when I sent her a little message on Instagram, and I sent her saying that I wanted to help out this Christmas, that I wanted to go help her out on the deliveries, and she responded to my message. I remember I was excited, man. I was like, heck yes, I'm going to be able to go deliver some presents to some kids. I'm going to be able to make more people smile this Christmas and less people lonely. So it was a very great experience for me.
Have you been on one of those, or is it this Christmas you're going to be helping out?
I helped out last Christmas, but yes, indeed, this Christmas as well. We're going to continue delivering presents, to continue making dreams come true, and hopefully I can have some of my fans tag along with us so we can deliver more presents this year because I'm pretty sure unfortunately, I don't like to think about it, but there's going to be lots of kids with not even a Christmas tree in their house. So yeah, I'm planning on maybe making a campaign. I'm working on it for next year so we can do Christmas trees as well, and we can combine mine with Kimberly's, and we can deliver a Christmas tree and presents.
That'd be awesome. I actually accompanied Kimberly 2 Christmases ago. I couldn't do it last year. 2 Christmases ago to deliver, and we had a bunch of things that we raised on Peace Fund Radio for it. But it was amazing, and I tell people this because Peace Fund basically does things all over the world. We've dealt with kids in in Cambodia, in Thailand, etc. And I've been to a lot of these places, and when you see the effect you have of actually giving something back to somebody, it really then the message really touches home. I don't think you can do it without actually being there.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, it's like I said, it was an experience where I said like, wow, like it touches home, like you said, it touches to the heart, and I think that if like they say, a lot of people say there's less nice people in this world. I mean, then if you think there's less people, then you have to be that person. You have to be that nice person in the world. Then you have to be that you think you have to be that person that you think that there's no longer here in this world. I mean, like they say,
that is very well said, Cheo. That is awesome.
There's a saying in Spanish that I like to say that goes hoy por ellos, mañana por nosotros, which is today for them, tomorrow for us, because, I mean, we never know, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and the funny thing is we don't know because from today to tomorrow, the life could change very unexpectedly. And I think you have to really live it for today and understand that tomorrow can be much brighter if you take a part in it.
Yes.
So what's your current music song that you have out? What's your latest record?
Yeah, cool. My latest record right now, it's called Tres Segundos. It's a song written by me. I produced the song as well. I actually engineered the song as well here in my actual studio. I'm very happy with the outcome that all my fans have given me with that. It's really incredible to know that people are actually waiting for my music, and I'm very happy because I just am now negotiating a record deal with a big company. So I hope to now be able to get my music to more ears and be able to musically give the world what they deserve, because I've always been one of those people, since I'm a music producer before I'm even an artist. I feel like the music is unappreciated. I mean, like in the world that I am in, I feel like the music is really unappreciated, and that's when I want to come and play and really give my all with this music label and demonstrate what I really have. And I'm really excited because it's not just a little indie record label, it's top notch. I believe they even have a movie production department in it. So I'm really excited.
I think these days most people have to integrate all their media, because the way that you produce things these days is changed a lot. I mean, everything is integrated now. You've got the social media that integrates into the music, that integrates into the film, which integrates into the documentaries. So it goes around, and I think a lot of companies are aware of that. So good. So let me ask you another question. This month is, our month. We're going to be kicking off our Giving Back campaign to the schools of Los Angeles. We've now secured Los Angeles Unified School District. We're in partnership with them, and we will be giving away 90 surfaces to different classrooms around the city or the county of Los Angeles, and we're going to be running that contest next year. But I just wanted to kick it off with giving a couple of surfaces away to some of your fans, because I know you're going to have a lot of your fans listening this morning and possibly next week. So I want to find out what would you do? I mean, obviously technology has changed a lot, and surfaces are part of technology. Do you think they should be in classrooms or not?
Do I think that tablets should be in classrooms? I think that they should, to a certain extent, because I mean, me as a student, sometimes behind the tablets, I mean, sometimes I'm pretty sure some of the kids are not going to be using the tablet for when it's supposed to be used.
Right.
Right. But I mean, do I think it's a great idea? I honestly do, because as a student, sometimes, I mean, everyone learns differently, right? Everyone learns differently. I'm more of a visual learner, so if I have, something in front of me so I can physically be active with and be involved with as I'm learning, I think it'd be a better learning process, and I think everyone will want to learn, right?
Yeah, I think, you're right, actually, because now there's so many different apps out there that actually allow you to learn different ways. Like you said, you're a visual learner. Somebody might be more of a practical, calculation learner. But then all these apps, and I think, I've done martial arts for 30 years, and people always used to say to me, so what martial arts should I take? I said, really, that depends on you. And that's the same as learning. It really depends on you, on what teacher you get the most out of.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly what I meant.
Yeah. So, okay. Let's start this thing off. What would be the two questions you would want to ask your fans or anybody out there to win these two surfaces? What two questions would you ask them if they were able to get a surface?
Okay. So let's get this off. Let's take this off now. Two questions, right?
Yep.
Two questions. Okay. So I think my first question actually would be, let's see, to everyone that's listening, how would winning a surface actually, because I mean, we know a surface can be used for many things, right? But how would winning a surface tablet advance your education? I think that would be question number one. How would winning a surface tablet advance your education?
That's a good question. Yeah, so that's the first one, but I think we have to give them a two-parter, because I think, what do you think a second one should be? Because I know you love giving back, and I know you're going to be doing it again this year. So what do you think? What do you think we should do the second one?
Okay, so question number two. Okay, that was question number one. Let's top it up with question number two. So for the person who would win the tablet, let's see, how would winning this tablet actually enable you to help others in your life and give back and help?
That's good.
So let's see. How would winning this tablet enable you to help others in life and give back? Let's see. Those are two questions So
Correct.
we're just gonna have to wait and see.
So what we'll do, we're going to put those up on the Peace Fund Radio Facebook pages and the Peace Fund Facebook pages. We'll put the questions up there. We'll give you all the instructions for people how to reply to that tweet, and then we will pick those over the next week, because so that I know some of your fans will be in school as well. We don't want to actually keep them out of it.
And we'll make this clear from the start, from the get-go. It has to be a great and complete answer. I don't think I'd choose just a short answer. Oh, I need this tablet because it's cool. I can watch YouTube videos.
That doesn't work. It's education. I think you're absolutely right. In education,
it's gonna have to be a good, complete answer to where, you know what, we're gonna choose the winners and say, you know what, this person deserves the tablet. He's really gonna use the full potential to actually get an education out of this.
Awesome. Well, Cheo, listen, I'm going to put those up on our site. I'm going to let all your fans and everybody, I'll let you, once we've got that link, we'll put it out. I'll send you the link so you can actually tweet it out as well and get your social media people to do it.
I totally will.
And that way, and I'd love to talk to you again, and maybe we can pick it next week on the show somehow, whether you're in person or on the phone again. We can actually pick those, because I think what we'll do is we'll pick a few winners, because I'm sure there's going to be more than a few people that actually really need these surfaces, and I want people to understand what it's going to and why it's important for people to have them, and then we'll pick the two winners next week live on air.
Sounds great. So just so everyone that's out there listening, we're going to repeat the two questions, even though we're going to put them up on our social media with all the links. But question number 1, how would winning a Surface tablet advance your education? Question number 2, how would winning this tablet enable you to help others in life and give back? So stay tuned, guys.
Exactly. Stay tuned. Cheo, thank you for joining us this morning. And keep up the good work. You've got a heart of gold, and it's awesome to see a young man that has that sort of intent in his life, as well as having a great career behind him.
Yeah, totally. No, thank you. And like I said, I'm really sorry and really embarrassed that I'm not sitting in there with you guys. But hopefully soon we'd be able to pick out that winner. Fabulous.
We'll do that soon, and I'll keep in touch, and I'm sure Kimberly will tell me all about it.
Perfect. Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chad. Take care.
And to all of our listeners out there who would like to follow Cheo on Twitter, you can find him at XCheoC. That's XCheyoC. Check him out.
Now, we have, again, education is our key focus right now. I just want to remind you of some of the facts. That 2/3 of students who can't read proficiently by the end of 4th grade will end up in jail or on welfare. Over 70% of America's inmates cannot read above 4th grade level. 1 in 4 children in America grow up without learning how to read, and students who don't read proficiently by the 3rd grade are 4 times likelier to drop out of school. And as we know, education solves a lot of the world's problems for us. Nearly 85% of juveniles who face trial in the juvenile court system are functionally illiterate, proving that there is a close relationship between illiteracy and crime. So let's just make sure that we understand why it's important to do what we're doing here. And I'm really excited to hear what some of you have to say out there about why it's important to you to actually win this Surface. And John, I know that you actually have we have a hero of the week this week, who's also going to be calling in this morning. We've got a packed show this morning.
Yeah, she'll be calling in a few minutes. Emma Mogus from bookswithnobounds.com. We had talked about Emma and her sister Julia on our April 22nd, 2015 show, and she'll be calling in with some updates in just a few minutes. They work very closely with young children all over the place: Canada, Pakistan, the Philippines, Africa, India, a lot of Aboriginal groups and Native groups in Ontario, of bringing literacy and friendship to these kids one book at a time. It's incredible work that they do. So she'll be joining us in a few minutes.
Well, just to give you guys some facts out there as well. I mean, Ethan, I know you've dealt with. I mean, we're going to be actually. Did we get those books to you, by the way? The books that were donated by my friend Renee Nizotti from Storage Wars.
The books have been donated. The books are going to the different lending libraries at different shelters this week, I hope. So yes,
that'll be awesome. I mean, I think we like to put people together, and as you can see, our network is getting nicely well, how would you say it? Jammed, I would say would be the thing, because we have a lot more books to give away. Because I think having like Cheo said, sometimes you use a surface for the wrong things. I think you have to make sure that you're going to use it for the right thing. But also reading itself with a book, a hard book, is also very important, because that's a skill, that's a motor skill that I think we have to understand that we need at a very young age. I mean, most people at 16 to 18 months, when children become amassing vocabulary, word learning is significantly affected by the economic background. And by age 3, trends in the amount of taught vocabulary growth and style of interaction are well established and suggest widening gaps. So low-income children arrive at school already behind in communication and language, which is a disadvantage that only persists over time. So we need to change that by giving them the tools that they need to actually further in education, keep them out of what we've talked about, which is the problems through crime and jail and juvenile delinquency. Parents and early childhood professionals play a critical role in the development of a child's early literacy skills. So, and by supporting them in this role, we reap significant dividends throughout a child's entire scholastic career. Now, John, what was your education like? Was it fraught with reading problems or not? Or did you?
No, I mean, from a very young age, my mother read to me, and I remember. I can still hear her voice. Millions of years ago, dinosaurs ruled the world. That was a sentence that she read to me a million times in this dinosaur book that I had when I was really little, that I just absolutely loved. And I loved to listen to her read. I loved to read myself. So I was able, I learned to read from an early age because my mom would always sit with me and read books. And when I would buy, when I would have Star Wars or G.I. Joe action figures, it wasn't enough just to play with the figures. I wanted to be able to read the little card that talked about the other figures and just the histories of the characters. I was just always really interested in that kind of thing. So my parents really really helped me with reading from an early age. When we would go to yard sales with my mom and my grandma and my aunt when I was young, they would always give me a handful of quarters or nickels to buy books. So I would always pick up books and read books, and I just loved to read from an early age. I always have.
I'd read to my kids every night. I mean, my kids, and it's amazing how quickly they pick up. Us older generation don't get the ability because our cerebral cortex can't handle it, I don't think. But when we're that young, I think we find that learning is a much easier thing to do, especially when you are put in front of constant educational tools such as books or today, technology that allows us to learn. I mean, I watch my kids looking at the TV, and sometimes I'm like, let's have an educational program on this so they can learn something from it as well, rather than spend all that time, which we talked about on Peace Farm Radio before, the amount of time kids spend in front of TV monitors. Anyway, we're now calling Emma Mogus a hero of the week. We're going to be calling her right momentarily, so hopefully, there it goes. Another call in, quick, and hopefully she's there.
Hello?
Hello, is this Emma?
Yes, this is Emma.
Emma, good morning. This is Adrian, Paul, and Ethan Dettenmaier and John Beerley from Peace Farm Radio.
Oh, hi there. How are you?
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm great, thanks.
Where are you right now?
Currently in Toronto, Canada.
Toronto. Oh, my wife was born in Toronto, and
awesome.
I spent a bit of time in Toronto, doing 2 series in Toronto. So
it's a really great place.
Yeah, it gets cold in the winter though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It gets cold a lot.
So, how old are you now, and how old were you when you and Julia when you founded Books with No Bounds?
So currently I'm 17, and my sister and I started Books with No Bounds when I was 12 and she was 14. So it's been a while.
Okay, so why did you guys start it? I mean, you're 12 and 14. I mean, what was the impetus for it?
I think that it really started when we were younger, and we grew up without cable TV, so reading was just something that we went to for enjoyment. It started with us wanting to read all the Harry Potter books and comic books, and eventually things like Shakespeare. And that made it all the more impactful when we learned about kids in our own country that didn't have access to these books. And so when I was about 13 years old, I got the opportunity to be part of something called the Legislative Page Program in Queen's Park, Toronto. So I learned a lot about how our government works, and I also learned about some of the initiatives like the book drive for Aboriginal youth. And I learned that this book drive had been stopped. So naturally, at 12 and 14 years of age, you're thinking to yourself, well, what can I do now that there's an absence of books for these kids? So we decided we wanted to collect as many books as we could, and we wanted to send them up to these communities that previously we had never heard of. And since then, we've been able to send over 105,000 books to reserves across Canada as well as across the globe.
So how do you collect them? I mean, I know you said you do them across the globe. How do you distribute them? Do you just send them, or do you take them there, or how do you do it?
So after a couple of years, you kind of get a process. So originally, what we did was we would save our Christmas money and our birthday money, and we would go to secondhand stores and garage sales and just pick up titles that were familiar to us. And then gradually, as we became more well-known, we had books and other community groups that would do, schools and other community groups that would do book drives for us. And then we have publishers and authors that generously donate books from their publishing companies to our organization. And we'll go through the books, we'll sort them, decide which ones are best for the community, and we'll package them, we'll do some fundraising, and we're able to send the books up there. Ultimately, it's really a community force behind Books with No Bounds that makes it possible. And so we box the books, we get them there through either a First Nations run airway or we go through Canada Post. And it's really just a lot of hard work and overcoming a number of obstacles to ensure that we can get the books into the hands of kids that need them.
I think that's awesome. We have our Heroes of the Week come on every week, and the interesting thing is that when you're young, you don't really know what no means. I can't do it. Why not? It would be the answer. Whereas we
exactly.
kind of, you know what I mean? And I think you've done the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, why can't I do that? I don't understand it. And we're like, well, because, it doesn't work. And that's why I think it's really important to have young adults like yourself to really, wake us up a little bit. What type of reactions do you get from these kids in the communities when you deliver them?
The reactions are amazing. When we deliver I remember after our first shipment of about 6,000 books in around July or August of 2012. So after that, we just sent the books off, and then a couple months later, we started receiving hundreds and hundreds of letters and of photos and videos and pictures and artwork from the communities. And all of them had one reoccurring theme. They all wanted more books. And so it's wonderful that looking back since then, we've been able to make really great friendships with these kids. And they're really the ones that inspire us because like you said about kids not wanting to hear no, it's just wonderful how two kids from completely different backgrounds are able to bond over the fact that we're driven, that we want to help each other, and that we're able to make these amazing experiences. And when we go and meet the kids, they share parts of their culture with us, which is wonderful. So ultimately, it's been a really great positive reaction from the communities. They tell us that they want more books, obviously. And it's wonderful to hear that all of our progress has been helping children like we intended to at the start, of course.
And you've met a lot of kids in your travels. I mean, how many countries have you gone to now?
I'm not exactly sure of how many countries. I know it's been quite a bit. It's wonderful that I've been able to be part of a global community of youth leaders. I've been traveling to places like Sweden and New York for conferences where I meet other kids who maybe not sending books, but through things like sending food supplies, they're able to empower youth and stand up for children's rights.
So what do you think? I mean, our goal this month and next month is literacy. It's about, giving back and empowering children either through physical books or through technology such as the Surface giveaways that we're going to be doing this month. And so what would you say were the biggest obstacles that you see to literacy in the kids that you meet?
Yeah, well, I think that when we go to a lot of these communities, it's one thing to go in and understand statistics about children who are living in so-called impoverished conditions, and it's another thing to go there and to be there for 3 days and then on the last day run out of water, or to be part of something like distribution of caribou meat. And so through that, our eyes are really open to the obstacles that face these youth and ultimately why they're not able to have access to proper books and education. And I think that a number of these, particularly for Aboriginal youth in Canada, are underfunding on the reserve in comparison to non-Native youth. And as well as things like not having proper access to clean water, not having a safe school or a safe home, things like having to pay enormous prices for food and $50 for a case of water. And it's things like when you have to devote your money to that, obviously you can't afford books. There's a bunch of factors that go into the barriers facing children worldwide for education and literacy. And my sister and I, at 12 and 14 years of age, obviously weren't as aware of these factors, but we knew that there was a cycle of poverty that was occurring and that the way to break it would be through education and literacy and empowerment.
I think it's awesome that you do that. I mean, you know, our goal eventually as the Peace Fund, what our goal is really to link everybody together, because we've had actually organizations on here before. One that was going to Afghanistan to deliver books in Afghanistan. They wanted to have a mobile library, but they couldn't figure out how to actually get the power to the mobile libraries, and we found another one that actually had the ability to do that in Africa. So we want to actually put people together so that there are some solutions that I don't think are very hard to figure out, but somebody else has already done it rather than you actually having trying to figure that out. It's not a question about everybody has their own funding issues, which I'm sure you do as well, because being a non-profit, you have to find your funding from somewhere. Where does most of your funding come from?
So when we started, it was really grassroots. We would actually go to local parks and sell freebies or candy on sticks, and we would raise funds through there. And so, because we are not profit, it's hard to generate a lot of these funds. So ultimately, it's really just out of community generosity. We'll go and speak to schools, and they might fundraise a couple $100s, and that goes directly towards sending the books and keeping the program going, obviously. And so, really, it's just about generosity from the community, people who donate. And the wonderful thing about Books with No Bounds is we can receive help in the forms of the donations of books, or donations of things like boxes and tape to ship the books, or a donation of storage units, or flights to such a community where there's a need for books. And so I think that really it's just about, again, community generosity, and the fact that this is an issue that hits home with many people, because literacy and the importance of education is something that we can all relate to. And so those funds are donated through community groups that I guess collect them themselves and fundraise through various creative means. And it's, of course, a wonderful way to engage youth in our own community. We have youth volunteers, a lot of my friends, of course, and it's wonderful that they're able to see that there's a need and to try to address it in any way that they possibly can.
Well, Emma, what I see, which I think is very clear with a lot of very successful organizations, is that you have a passion for what you do.
Mm-hmm,
and
definitely.
I think because you speak very eloquently on what you need and where you're going and how you're going to do it. So I think you've got to keep that passion up if you for you to be even more of a success. So where's the Books with No Bounds going next? That'd be the last question I want to ask you.
Well, I think like our books, ultimately our goal is to have no bounds. And so really we think that the next steps are to keep doing what we're doing. We have about 10,000 books waiting shipment. So it's about collecting those funds. And we ask people to donate through our website, like www.bookswithnobounds.com, and to connect with us through social media and Facebook, and to let us know what ways they'd like to help. And so we're also looking to do a partnership with a couple of schools in South Africa, and just sending our books and having an impact, even a greater impact around the world, and expanding what we ship to not only books, but to continue sending crafts and school supplies. Currently, we've sent over 40,000 crafts and school supplies and hundreds of tablets and computers. And it's about recognizing the other barriers to education and the other necessary tools for education, and things that are needed in the classroom for a kid to do well in school, and to continue addressing those needs.
Well, Emma, thank you for joining us this morning. You're our Peace Fund Hero of the Week. Thank you for coming on. Our time is so limited. We're going to try and extend our time to 2 hours instead of an hour at some point, because we want to hear more, but unfortunately we've run out of time. Emma,
no
thank
worries.
you.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks. Have a great day.
You too. So, well, that was John. That was interesting. It's funny because as we were mentioning, we. Ethan, you had the books for the homeless kids that you said were donated to a different library, or will be donated to different shelters, correct?
Yes. Yes, because books rule.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, they do.
Yeah, and it's amazing, and that's part of our program. I'm going to be taking some of the books as well. We're going to be creating our interactive storytelling program as well. very shortly. You'll hear more about that on our new Peace Fund site that's hopefully coming with it in the new year.
We should do some audiobooks, you and me.
Well, we'll do some audiobooks as well. That'll be another thing we can do. John, do you have any updates for us? Because again, as I said to Emma, we are running out of time.
Yes, very quickly, check out Emma and her sister Julia on bookswithnobounds.com. If you go to their Facebook page, facebook.com/bookswithnobounds, you can watch the speech that Emma gave to the 2015 World Children's Prize ceremony alongside Her Majesty Queen Sylvia of Sweden. So it's an incredible speech that she gives. Go check that out. And if the last name Mogus sounds familiar to our longtime listeners, that's because Julia and Emma's brother Jack was our hero of the week on June 19th of 2013 for his organization Change by Youth, which you can find at changebyouth.com. And very quickly, some links to previous heroes of the week who have worked hard for literacy: Adele's literacylibrary.org, literacyforlittleones.com. Their founder, Rachel Lay, will be joining our show next week to talk about her efforts. Spreadthewords.us by Tatiana Grossman. She was the one who came up with the idea for the solar-powered tablets for children in African countries that do not have access to electricity. So those are just a few, and also alyssasbedtimestories.org. Those are just a few of our heroes of the week who have done a lot for literacy and are very active with literacy drives are here around the holidays.
I thought that was always a fun thing to have, actually, to be honest. When we talked about, putting different organizations together, and we found out that they'd actually done the literacy program in Africa, which you brought on, John.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then Adele also did the same thing from Adele's Literacy Library. She did something similar with they actually built a solar-powered computer lab for the kids there. And again, you said this earlier in your interview with Emma, kids are told, no, that's not going to work. Your idea will not work. And they found a way around it. Both of these girls harnessed solar power. And I think these kids just don't have limits. It's incredible. That's
the thing. I think, you don't know what the limit is. And I think that's what's very important to understand, is that children don't have limits. And that's really where, we should be listening and looking to the future, is through our kids. And that's why I think it's important for us to give the Surface giveaways that are coming up, because we're going to be empowering a lot more children to actually think for themselves and do things for themselves that are going to further their career, their education, and the way the world is looked at, and keeping people actually out of prisons. Because, as I said in the statistics earlier on, a lot of people that are illiterate are in those institutions today. Ethan, do you have anything else we need to you want to address this morning? Because I know you've been working hard over the weekend. The event went well, which is fantastic.
Yeah, the event was fantastic. I'm at Social Services actually Saturday with everything I've got left over and everything I can get my hands on between now and then. You can still donate to our cause. We're going to buy some household items and fill the food bank, and that's at GoFundMe.com/CombatRadioXmas5. And, you can still get involved for the next couple of days as we try to do some kindness. I'll be doing a broadcast from a Christmas tree lot and 2 other live broadcasts actually Saturday. So it's a full load for me.
And everybody be sure to follow Ethan on Twitter at Combat Radio, where he posts links to videos and photos. You can actually see his events in action, and it's amazing what he puts together.
Thank you. Thank you for that, John. Very cool of you to say that.
Yeah, and as I said before, the Peace Fund is really sort of coming forward with that as well, because, Ethan is now actually going to be on our advisory board, aren't you, Ethan?
Yeah, let's do it.
Congratulations. It's great.
Yeah, so...
Thank you.
We are having a lot of interesting things happening at the Peace Fund. So check us out at www.thepeacefund.org, thepeacefund.org, just so that you all know that. John, are there any other quick updates before we have to leave?
I think we're good. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at The Peace Fund, at Peace Fund Radio. Follow Adrian at AdrianPaul1 to stay in touch with all the great things we're doing.
And make sure that you go to our Facebook pages so that you can figure out the rules to the competition for our Microsoft Surface giveaway that will be happening next week on this show. So again, I'm going to leave you all with a quote by former Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan. Knowledge is power. Information is liberating. Education is the premise of progress in every society, in every family. This is Adrian Paul and Ethan Dettenmaier. We'll see you again.
You're listening to Peace Fund Radio with Ethan Dettenmaier and Adrian Paul, right here on LA Talk Radio.